Hi, how's everyone? Thanks for coming back. Hello and welcome if you're new. I'm glad you found me. Pisces, you're up in the rotation next, so let's do you. What the fuck? You are going through it, and you are definitely putting us through it as well. In tropical astrology, the moon has moved on into Aries. Tropical to me is like the outer environment. Also in tropical, the north node is in Pisces and the south node in Virgo. Saturn retrograde until November 28th in Pisces. That's Saturn being the taskmaster. He's like the test giver, the exam giver. And when he's in retrograde, if it's a feeling of going back over the exam and reviewing what you got wrong and then being able to retake the test. Okay, with this happening in Pisces, this has to do with that deep soul work. So Saturn retrograding through Pisces is giving a feeling of that deep soul work. You're being given an opportunity to go back and review maybe things that you missed, things that you weren't able to get to in the last cycle, things that you maybe forgot. Remember, this is dredging up stuff from the deep subconscious, because that's Pisces' realm. Saturn is the god of time. So with him going backwards, it's like you're getting more time to review this deep soul work, because when he goes direct in late November, then the karma is going to start being the grades are going to start being given by for the soul work that we have been tested on. Also in your sign in tropical, your ruler Neptune is retrograde, and that is until October. It's some heavy energies up there. Saturn and Neptune are generational planets, so it takes a long time for them to go through, and then they retrograde, and then they go back through again. So in tropical astrology, it's really, really, the energy up in the Pisces realm is difficult right now. In sidereal astrology, for me, that's the inner environment. The moon is still in you, but remember, because they're off by a sign. So in tropical, the moon has moved into Aries, but in sidereal, the moon actually has just moved into Pisces. So the moon is in you, Neptune is retrograde in you, and Saturn is retrograde in you in the sidereal. So in the outer environment, like I was talking about, this deep soul work is going on. So that's not just for us personally. The outer environment also represents the world at large, our community, what's going on in the energies that we can't control. In the sidereal energy is that inner environment, how we process things inwardly, our goals, and our true feelings about things. So, there's some deep soul work going on in the Pisces sphere. I hope we can get through it. I hope we can pass the test. But you're definitely putting us through it now, Pisces, and um you're going through it too. So let's do the cards and see what kind of energies are going to play out for this week. We're going to do one card for current energy, 3 clarifiers, possibly the bottoms of the decks, and an oracle message. Okay, so please, can you give me one card for, thank you, Pisces. We got the Page of Cups again. You guys watched me while I was talking. I was shuffling this deck. Page of Cups came out yesterday for the moon reading. And look at all these moons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moons. This is love for love's sake. Pisces, you are such a sweet, dreamy, loving sign. But it's interesting because there's that deep love there, but it's kind of a detached love. I don't know how to explain it. It's love not without, but It's love that does not require passion, like sexual passion. I mean, there is sexual, ugh, I don't know how to describe it. It's a higher love. Now I'm hearing higher love. Was that Peter Cetera? Bring me a higher love? I'll link it in the description. I'm not sure if that's Peter Cetera. Um, Jesus was said to be a Pisces, even though they say he was born in December. We all know he wasn't. He was born sometime in February, possibly. Um, but yeah, it also because I mean the age of the fish, and fish being the symbol of Christianity, because the sun was rising in Pisces when he was born. So that kind of love, it's unconditional, but it's not impassioned. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there are theories that he was married and had kids, or at least was married and, you know, functioned as a functional male in his society. So there was, sexual things there. But the love that he had for humanity was so deep and spiritual and pure. And that's the kind of energy that Pisces has. It's a deep, connective, very intuitive, very introspective, almost psychic way of connecting with people. And it has nothing to do with sex. Do you know what I mean? It's like love for love's sake. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's pure hearts and innocence. But now, again, with this page of cups, we do have the red string of fate. So this is a string that connects two soulmates, two twin flames, two souls that are meant to be connected. Okay. This is very childlike energy. It's very optimistic, but it can be unsure. Those waters are pretty deep right now. Even though there's 6 moons in the sky in this card, the waters are pretty calm. So he's not stepping into the waters like in other page cards. In other page of cups cards, he's not standing in the water. He's standing on the shore, and the waters are right around his feet but not quite touching. So there's an intention of entering into an emotional um, emotional connection, but it's hesitant just yet. Just yet, it's a little hesitant. He uses his cup to dip into the waters, and symbolically he pulls up a fish, and that represents those things coming up from the deep subconscious. So he is actually in some kind of um, conversation with the fish, and he's like, what does it look like down there? So this is somebody who wants to approach, and it's a young, sweet offer. It may be a young person, but that definitely the offer and the energy around the arrival of this person feels young. It feels pure. You know what I mean? So he dips the cup in and he asks the fish, what does the emotional depths look like down there? And in regards to another person or a possible love interest, he's asking the fish, what does the heart look like down there? Whether it's yours or whether they're inquiring about the lay of the other person and their emotions. There is a feeling of wanting to know if it's, can I come forward? That basically. So he's asking the fish, can I come forward with this offer? A lot of times they also interpret the Page of Cups as an apology for it's some kind of heartfelt, emotional message. The pages are all messengers, okay? So the first clarifier we have is the Ace of Swords and the Upright. Okay, this also came out yesterday. Again, you watched me shuffle these cards. I'm sitting here talking and shuffling them, right? The Ace of Swords, Gordian's Knot. There is a dilemma here. Holy shit. There is a dilemma here, but you have the clarity to get past this. Let me just bring this light down so I can read this. Let's mess up the... Okay. This represents vision and inspired action, okay? It's an unexpected solution to an old problem and cleverness. So somebody is going to come in with a good a good plan. A good plan for this. Let me turn down the brightness just a little. Okay. The story behind Gordian's Knot is that there was this town that tied up in a cart, okay, a horse cart, a donkey cart, whatever it was. They tied it up and they secured it with this giant knot. And it was a representation of their old king, who was very noble and wise, and they admired him very much. And they said the only other person that can serve as king after him is somebody who can undo this knot. You see the knot? Someone who can undo that knot. Okay? So I forget who was the hero of this story from Greek mythology, but he comes through town and he sees he goes to the higher ups and he sees the cart all tied up. And he's like, yo, what's with the knot? And they explained to him the story. Our previous king came into town in a donkey cart or a horse cart or whatever, and he was so wise and noble that we tied the horse cart, and whoever can undo that knot is the next one who deserves to be king. And so the hero looks at it and looks all around the cart and looks at all the ropes that they have bound. None of it makes sense, but he looks at it all and he looks at the giant knot and he takes out his sword and he cuts it off. And they all stood around and it was like it was supposed to be a test. It was supposed to be a test of deservedness. Yeah. Like you were supposed to be able to show that you could undo the problem, right? And his solution was just cutting off the knot. And then all the ropes fell away. So the key to this card is not only that you're going to have some kind of insight that's going to allow you to totally get past an obstacle, but possibly the way you do it is to not even try to unravel whatever is tying this up. Just cut it off. Just not cut your way through, because there is no way you're going to stand there. And if there's 100 ropes, now remember, all this is symbolism. So this could be something you're going through in your life where it seems like you just cannot find a solution that is good or that everybody likes. Or there may be something about it that there's information missing and you can't undo that rope at the moment, right? So this card is saying, no, you have all the information you need. You have all the strength that you can handle. Just slice it off. And then there's the suggestion that all the aces are a little zap from the divine. So there might be something coming in that is so unexpected. It's like the answer just falls into your lap and it's represented here by the sword. And something's going to come to you in an illumination that's going to allow you, it's going to be the tool that you need to cut yourself free from some kind of dilemma. Next to it, again, we've got the Two of Swords, but this time in the reverse. Again, you guys saw me shuffle. This is almost the same cards as yesterday's reading. And that's actually makes a lot of sense, because in the tropical astrology, the moon was in Pisces when it entered into the lunar eclipse and opened up this next 2 weeks of an eclipse cycle with the sun in Virgo. Okay, so the moon in sidereal is still in Pisces. So a lot of that eclipse energy that we were dealing with yesterday is just getting started. And I actually it makes sense that the energy is continuing to flow through even into this next reading. So this Two of Swords again is kind of like, see, she's stuck with her eyes closed and these two swords are raised. She's going to use wisdom and virtue to make this decision, but it's in the reverse. So this means that there is some indecision and no good choices here. It feels like there's no good choices here. This is the card of being between a rock and a hard place, you know? In the upright, the decision is being made, but in the reverse, it's still kind of, you're still muddled and confused a little bit. Let's get another, please. Last clarifier for Pisces. This is a lot of air energy, Pisces. We got three swords here, and that is heartbreak. So this may be pulling on your heartstrings. There's something about this Page of Cups. It's like this love comes through and it kind of throws you for a loop. Binds you up a little bit. I heard, what am I supposed to do with that? How am I supposed to, because it's like trying to fit in new information here. Okay, the next card we got is the Six of Swords. Again, this time in the reverse. That could be that Saturn energy. Six of Swords is not necessarily Saturn. It could be Saturn in Libra. I'm not sure. All of these are swords. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 of Swords. This is definitely anxiety and mental stress. Okay, the Six of Swords is usually a blessing to move on to calmer waters, but this is stasis, confinement, mistreatment, unhappiness, and doldrums. Doldrums is when you're on the ocean and it's very calm, so you're not really going anywhere, but it's fucking maddening. It's maddening. Okay, you feel stuck. There's no winds to push you anywhere. You're just kind of stuck in the middle of the ocean and nothing's propelling you. You're not necessarily going backwards, but you're not quite making much progress either. This is a lot of mental energy. Had I known this was going to come out like this, I would have gone to check what's going on in the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The only thing I can remember is that Lilith is in Libra, in sidereal, and Jupiter is in Gemini right now. But those are good. Those are good influences. Jupiter is an expansive, wonderful energy of generosity and optimism, and that being in Gemini, the sign of communication, that free flowing of ideas, that ability to speak your mind. So here, there's this Page of Cups, the clarifiers for the situation. Where is this clear? Let me think here. So part of me feels like with this page coming in with this offer, even though it's young and sweet, love for love's sake, you can feel the value of this person. You can feel the value of their love. Okay? Now, in some in the collective, this person is the one bringing the sword. This person is the one bringing the enlightenment, the illumination that's going to allow you to cut this knot away. But you're in an energy of stagnation here, trying to figure this out. I heard you're supposed to use your heart, not your logic. Because these swords energies, they're in the reverse except for the ace. Okay? Yeah. Remember I was talking about going through that exam period, being tested here. It feels like the test is putting aside the logic and the rationale and going with what the heart is saying. And that is, that's really illustrated in what's going on in Pisces in the astrology right now. With three planets in you in sidereal, the moon, or in tropical? No, in sidereal you've got the moon, Neptune in reverse, and Saturn in reverse in Pisces. Okay? What's going on in the other water signs? Let me think. I don't remember. So bottom of the decks, let's see here. Ten of Wands in the reverse. Somebody's not accepting help. The Magician in the reverse. Again, a card that came out yesterday. Not, okay, this is a blockage of energy. There's insecurity here, wasting your talents, your tools, and a lack of inspiration. A blockage. Yeah, that's sword energy. That mind energy is really blocking you up here. I heard Listen to Your Heart by Roxette again. So what, how many, what was the other song? Oh shoot, I'll have to replay it now. Okay, and then the third card here we have the moon. And we know the moon has been in play because it's opened up the eclipse cycle. So we got 7 moons here. So, oh, that pesky eclipse cycle. It started with a lunar eclipse, and that's when the moon moves behind the earth into the earth's shadow so that it looked like a blood moon. It was fully eclipsed, except for like maybe 2 degrees or something like that. But what that means is that usually, like for the solar eclipse, when the moon moves in front of the sun, it shuts the ego up for a minute. You know, it eclipses that brightness. And it's a very beautiful um, energy to be in because you can both see in the brightness of the sun, but you can see the shadows that the moon casts also. But when the moon is in the shadow, the sun is the main player here. So the ego has come back. There could be, but it's also like bravery and vitality and growth and warmth, and the warmth that the sun gives helps things to grow, but it can also symbolically um, be too bright for other things to be seen. That's why the moon's energy is so important, because when it moves in front of the sun, it gives those things in the shadow the opportunity to be seen. But for right now, we have started with this. I'm gonna say symbolically an extra bright sun because of the moon being in shadow for the eclipse. But when the eclipse broke, the moon was fully full. So that means a lot of things that were in the shadow are coming out into fruition, okay, to be seen. And the cycle ended with that, or the cycle has begun with this new eclipse. It's hard to keep straight sometimes. So this is opening up a 2 week window here, and when the new moon comes around, it's going to be a lunar eclipse in shit. I want to say Virgo. Don't quote me on that. I do want to say Virgo. Um, so yeah, this is under hidden influences on the bottom of the deck. There's somebody here in this 10 of Wands on the reverse not accepting help. Um, so the 10 of Wands does represent a burden that you're not putting down. Okay. In the upright, it's talking about finally finding a way to disperse the load. Um, delegate help delegate help with the load. You're putting it down and you're delegating others to, handle their own wants, right? But in the reverse, it's somebody who is taking the burden back onto themselves, and not looking for help. It's not that it's not there, and it might not even be help from other people. This is help, like you've got that Ace of Swords coming in, and it's just sending you intellectually, logically, all in the reverse. And then, like I said, with this 10 of Wands in the reverse, it's like somebody is just taking it all upon themselves. Okay, this is oh, okay. In the reverse, it is accepting help. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. So some in the collective may still be in the energy of the upright where they're not accepting help yet. But in the reverse, um, yeah, this is wonderful. This is accepting assistance, giving self care, delegating the workload. Okay. So everything I was talking about with the one with it upright, where you're not delegating in the reverse, it means that that is being broken. Okay. Delegating workload, there's an easing up of the hardship to regain your strength. Fantastic. But we do have the magician in the reverse. This is a blockage or insecurity of wasted talents. And then the moon is that shadow that we're dealing with. This could be self deception, illusion, and sad. Okay, here's the thing you have the ability to manifest this, but you're insecure about this. It could be this page of cups energy here. Pisces, you may find yourself in this energy of kind of this young um you're going at something or someone with beautiful, pure intentions, but there's not a lot of self confidence here. And I get it because you're still even in the influence of the moon. We've got the moon here. There's also a feeling of being displaced or misplaced. Maybe a little bit lost, maybe not with your people, because the nature of of the myth that this card goes with. And it's that this young woman in the picture was misplaced. She actually, her people were from the moon. And there was for some reason, she ended up landing on Earth and being raised with a human family, but she always longed to get back to the moon. So, Pisces, you in fact may even have felt like this growing up, that you were a moon child. And that's why it rules the water signs a little bit less Scorpio. Scorpio is emotional, but they'll set fire to shit. Pisces and Cancer, they're a little bit more detached. So yeah, the moon child. You want to go back to where your heart belongs, and the moon represents that shadow side, that innate intuition, that um, the area where your emotions can be free, deep, committed, loving. That's where you function the best. But there is some insecurity here and a blockage. The blockage here underneath this Two of Swords in the reverse, there's no good choices. That may be the blockage, that you feel like there's no good choices, so you can't really manifest anything for yourself. But look, you've got the Ace of Swords here. Cut away what you think the obstacle is and use that until you've got the answers. They're telling me that you might not be seeing the answers because it's air energy, it's mental energy, and right now you're kind of dwelling in the deep waters. So, yeah, you've got the answer. Accepting assistance, self care. Okay, great. Yeah. And the moon on that Six of Swords in the reverse, that stagnation, not feeling like you're going anywhere. The waters that you're in are very still. That's interesting because I feel like they're very riled up having the three energies working through them like that. But maybe for you it's easier to be in that energy. It's not for me. I'm mostly air and fire. I have a little bit of water. I have a grand trine, but it's like totally negated by all the fire and the air. So emotions are really hard to process. For me, I can't, I've said this before. I don't know, Pisces, how the fuck you function like this all the time, boo-hooey all the time, tapped into absolutely everybody all the time. Now I can do that too, but it's not at the same deep emotional level as you. I can read surface energy. I can get the ripples. I can get the static, energies, but y'all dwell in here and I couldn't even. So let's see. Current energies, we've got a Page of Cups, brand new offer of love, love for love's sake. It's pure and sincere. They want me to point out 7 moons, so I don't know if that means 7 months or 14 days, because the moon takes 2.5 days to go through each sign. So if this is 7 moons, it could be like 14, 15 days. That's the end of the eclipse cycle, when we have the solar eclipse in, I believe, in Virgo. That's going to be interesting. So maybe it's just for these next 2 weeks that you're kind of feeling a little bit stagnant. Here's the thing. The stagnancy seems to all be happening in the mental sphere, but in the emotional sphere, you are absolutely at home. Okay? So here with this Ace of Swords and unburdening yourself, that's wonderful energy. Some kind of illumination is going to come through that's just going to allow you to totally unburden yourself of whatever this problem is. That knot is going to fall away, and you're going to be able to, it's going to be an easing of a hardship, okay? Just have faith in yourself, okay? Because right now you're in that Two of Swords in the reverse energy, and that's that no good choices. I can't see a good way forward, you know, and it's like, you don't have to. We've got it. It's showing you with the Ace of Swords. So we're going to go ahead and get that Ancestor Oracle message. Let's see here, please. They really didn't clarify much, but at least I can read the energies. Because, sometimes there's no resolution, especially when we're just reading for the next week. There's no quote-unquote outcome. There's just the next step to, you know what I mean? So in the energy right now, there's a wonderful little Page of Cups here. Asking how the emotional depths are. Is it, are you ready to receive this? There's a message coming in about love. And I think you might swim right by it. Don't swim by this. Okay? Okay. I'm going to take the mountains. There's obstacles here. Yeah. But in this deck, it means stand your ground. Okay. Let me read from the book Mountains. Stand your ground. Hi, baby. No. Don't get mad at me. No. Meow. Meow. So here's the mountain. Let me see if I can hold this still while I read. It says, hold firm what you believe in or are focusing on, okay? Because you are absolutely right. Know that heaven and earth is supporting you. It says mountain energy is powerful because it's firmly rooted in the Great Mother and reaches high to the sky, to the Great Father. If you're feeling challenged or pressured at this time, know that your spirit is more powerful than you think. You are resilient and grounded, and the energy and the energy and air of the mountains is giving you the unshakable strength to be who you are. Take time to root yourself deeply in the energy of the earth before welcoming the energies of heaven. If you're not sure what you need to do next, the Mountain card invites you to stay just where you are. Talk things over with those around you and know that change will come to you. You will be whole and well at the end of this current situation, and it will not stand in the way of your future growth and expansion. So this feels like a moment where you just take a breath, right? That save point card that has been coming out. Take a rest, take a break. there's a lot of deep soul work going on right now. So I think a lot of you may be taking some respite probably from emotional things, which makes me feel like if this page comes in, you might miss it. You might not see them. You might downplay it, because it's such a new, young, but unsure of itself. You know what I mean? Unconfident kind of offer. But it's not, it is quite sincere. Oh my God, she's got the zooms. Let's get some, um, the theme deck here, some final advice for Pisces energy, please, in this eclipse cycle. Okay. If you're vibing with my video, leave me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave a comment, please. If you have any questions about anything, any cards that came out, leave a comment, ask me. I am available for personal readings and birth chart inquiries. My email, Venmo, and Cash App are in the description. Okay, we've got 777, the divine path. You're right where you should be and are serving your divine purpose. Remember what I was saying, that the doldrums here with that 6 of swords in the reverse, you're not really going anywhere. The winds aren't blowing your boat and you're in the doldrums, which is just very blasé kind of energy, right? I feel like that's that mountain energy where if it's saying if you're not sure, then you are by all means just stay still for a minute. Divine path, you're right where you should be and you are serving your divine purpose. We've got Bubo, the owl. This is a gift from the gods, guidance, intercession, and gifts from the gods. This is from Clash of the Titans, the original, the OG, not the mess that came out recently. Bubo was a mechanical owl as a gift from Athena to Perseus, because Zeus wanted her to give up her real owl. But she commissioned the smith god Vulcan. In Greek, it's Hephaestus, and he made this clockwork owl Bubo, and he was able to communicate with Perseus. So there's guidance, intercession, and a gift from the gods. Let's see what this gift is. It could be the sword, the Ace of Swords. Some kind of illumination or information that's going to allow you to absolutely cut away this obstacle. And you might miss it because you're in your feels, Pisces, without that energy going through you right now. And your heart, it's like your heart is longing for some kind of sweet love and you're missing it because, you just kind of distracted with that emotional stuff. Pay attention to the red flags, even if that's you. You've also got 222. Keep the faith. Okay, timely and auspicious opportunities are coming. Stand strong in your personal truth. That's exactly what the mountain was saying. Stand strong in your truth. It's a couple more, please, for Pisces, and then we'll wrap it up. It's too many. Just a couple more, please, for Pisces. Okay. We've got Archangel Uriel. We get Michael and we get Gabriel a lot. We don't often get Uriel. I think this is the illumination. There we go. What were we talking about? Illumination. With that Ace of Swords. Kablam. Archangel Uriel. Wisdom. Clear sight. The light of God's truth. Decisions, which is awesome because that 2 of Swords is indecision in the reverse. Resolving conflicts, an awakening, intellect, and guidance. That's the second card talking about guidance here with Bubo right there. And a couple more for Pisces, please. What is Jupiter? Oh yeah, Jupiter is in Gemini. Okay, it's divine authority, protection, luck. prosperity. It can also be a little sneaky, egocentric, and a little pompous, but entirely too charming for its own good. So maybe that's why you don't trust that Page of Cups coming in, because it's got that Gemini energy on it. It's the sweet talking, hey babe, come on baby, come on mama, give me a chance. What you got to lose? Something like that. That's what you hear. That's what you hear. That's what your paranoia hears. And I don't want to remind you that paranoia also falls under Pisces energy, because that's when it's in reverse. Could be paranoia there. Delusions, right? Illusion can become delusion, and dreams can become nightmares very easily in those deep dark waters. So there may be some sweet thing trying to walk through, and you're not trusting them. Sneaky, sneaky. Aloe vera here, soothe yourself, find some respite. That's that self-care that's being talked about in the Ten of Swords in reverse. That's emotional self-care, okay? Emotional self-care. And again, this isn't just for straight Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. We all have Pisces somewhere in our chart. We all have all the signs somewhere in our chart. So when I do the readings for a certain sign, it's not just sun, moon, and rising, the big threes. It's anywhere in your chart that you have that sign that is of concern, that you can listen to this. Somebody is self-medicating. And if they're not self-medicating, look, I said, I just pulled soothe, and then I said, take care of yourself, and then I pulled self-medicating. But this could also just be plain medication. No, you got another one, another divine number here, 333. Angels in spirit are near you. They're saying, we hear you. Yeah. Oh, I got that message just recently too. We hear you. Oh yeah, that was with the magician. In the other reading for the eclipse, the magician came out, but then spirit was talking about you're interfering too much in the energy. You put your intention out, you're doing the work, stop lifting the lid. We're trying to make it happen. Every time you go back and try to adjust something or add something or take something away, or maybe this will be a better idea, or maybe I should do it this way. Every time you do that, the divine is saying we have to rework the recipe and then start over. So the more you interfere in the divine manifesting, the longer you're adding to the time of you actually reaping what you are trying to create for yourself. And again, look at this. The key. Once closed doors may now be opened, you have the answers. That goes along with that Ace of Swords, okay? Just cut away the obstacle that you think is there. People are going to be totally in their heads about trying to figure something out, and this illumination is just going to come, and you know what, I'm just going to fucking cut the lock off. That's what I'm going to do. That's that kind of energy. And the key is for the door underneath. Balance the two here. I know you're deep in your emotions with the moon here and the eclipse cycle going on, but there is some mental energy going on here that might be a little bit hard for you to see. I was about to say air doesn't mix in with water until they showed me the waves and like sea foam. That happens because air gets mixed in with water and it causes, the bubbles and stuff. Where was I going with that? You can bring that intellect and that coldness in, and you know what? That makes sense, because when I was reading up on Neptune in Pisces, Neptune retrograde, pulling that energy back, is actually making Pisces look at things in quite cold water, in a cold, clear, logical way. And maybe that energy is kind of uncomfortable for you to be in. We've got a male family member making himself known. The bell, divine calling, spirit is present. Yeah, Pisces, you guys are um innately spiritual. In fact, you're so in tune that a lot of you take it for granted. A lot of you don't even realize it. It's just, uh, you know, it's just like the way you breathe or the way you walk. It's just so natural to you that you might be taking it for granted at this moment, at this time period. One last one. The belonging you seek is not behind you, it is ahead. So keep walking forward. Okay, that's what I have for you, Pisces. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope this resonated. All my info is in the description. Until I see you again in the next reading. Okay, thanks. Bye.